G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We are here on Cliffside with some early action about to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to introduce our players for today. Sporting on the east side of the map in the color teal, playing as the Delhi Sultanate, we've got our Chinese friend. And on the west side of the map, in the color yellow, playing as the English, we've got Fei Chan. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cliffside. It is a pleasure to have your company here today. I'm excited for some early game action. This is going to be good. Fei opening up with a barracks already. We've been casting a lot of Fei games lately. She's been winning a lot of games lately. I just checked her ranking. I'm not even kidding you. She's inside the top 50 now. So keep an eye out for her. I'm looking forward to seeing what she's got this game. If you're looking forward as well, make sure you go ahead, hit that like button, because I tell you what, every time you hit that like button, it helps drive this video to more people that look at Age of Empires 4 and go, yeah, maybe I should give that game a try. And I think that's what it's about. You know, it's kind of interesting how the YouTube algorithm works. And sometimes as a creator, you know when a video is going to just pop off, and sometimes you've got no clue. Like, I'll give you an example, okay? So, if you go on my channel and sort my videos by most popular, you will see there is a video there. It's called a defensive masterpiece, something like that. It's the Viper, right? One of the biggest guys in Age of Empires history. So there's a couple of reasons why that is big, right? Like, because it's got the Viper in it, and it's pretty cool, right? Like, if you have a look at the thumbnail, like, there's a big wall in the middle, there's big castles behind it. So I think it's attracting a lot of people that don't normally play Age of Empires 4. But then I didn't know that was going to be a banger. I just posted it like any other regular video. I think it probably didn't even do that well initially, but over time it just gets more and more videos because people see that and they love it. But then sometimes, you know, you've got an absolute banger. I think there was a Japanese game, I remember, I think it was Crackety that was playing, and he somehow managed to win. It was on Gorge, and that, I once again called it a defensive masterpiece. And I just knew, I'm like, this one is going to be a banger. I just know it. Because it really just captured that energy all the way throughout the game. It was like, is this guy going to win? Is he going to win? Is he not going to win? And he eventually won. It was kind of wild. And that video, I think it got posted just a couple of months ago, and it's already like almost 200,000 views, which is kind of crazy. And I guess that's just the reality. You never know when you're going to have a banger and when you're not, but just that extra little like at the beginning of the video could be what triggers it to get put into the algorithm, because the YouTube algorithm works in mysterious ways. But there's no mystery when it comes to Fei breaking out these early men-at-arms on the English. I'm excited to watch Fei play the English. Fei reminds me quite a bit of Divine, in that Fei's got a pretty good, a good pool of civilizations that she can pull from, and she's quite competent with these civilizations now. One of the differences between the two is that Divine, obviously a little bit more focused about going Imperial Age. Every game he can get away with it, he'll go for it. Whereas Fei, I would say a bit more aggressive. Kind of reminds me almost like GUA in that regard. So I'm curious to see how she plays it here today, but I suspect it's probably going to be very aggressive. And that is because she's up against the Delhi Sultanate. The Delhi Sultanate, of course, you look at this civilization and you say, it's not that scary. And then you look at the sacred timer and you're like, I don't remember 2 minutes and 26 seconds? Okay, I got to get a move on. And then you start, like, you put your first barracks down, but by that point, it's already over. The Delhi Sultanate have won with a sacred victory. And I suspect Fei's going to be doing everything in her power here to stop that today, because the Delhi Sultanate are notorious for their ability to control the map early on, secure sacred sites, and utilize that gold income to go even further up to the Castle Age. The big thing that Fei's going to be looking for here is to try and keep her opponent in the Feudal Age. If she can do that, if she can keep her opponent in the Feudal Age for a long time, that's going to work out really good for her, because she's got access to the Men-at-Arms. And while, yes, technically the Men-at-Arms is countered by the Ghazi Raider, she can always mix in a couple spears, and that makes it very difficult for her opponent. So the longer she keeps her opponent in the Feudal Age, the better it will be for it. All right, well, so far, so good. A little bit of damage over on her opponent. Not a whole lot, though. No villagers going down, just a little bit of health taken off. We can see a few villagers in there missing out on some health, but back in the base of Fei, we're right on board with her, as it looks like we've got Council Hall on the way. Expect to see longbows out early. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see things like an outpost, maybe even some walls getting thrown up down here. Just looking to try and control the narrative a little bit as to where your opponent is able to take sacred sites. We also see back here the campfire thrown down. Remember, this is no ordinary campfire. This is expensive. 25 wood she's had to spend on this bad boy. we do now start to see there's a building coming down. It's going to be a blacksmith to open from the Delhi Sultanate. Also, a stable. A lot of wood being thrown out here. Faye on the other side of the map immediately upon age up. What does she look for? Let's take a look and see. It's going to be the mill. So she'll be looking for probably a wheelbarrow or looking to go into horticulture, which can make a lot of sense. It's going to be a wheelbarrow. Plenty of gold in the bank. She can actually go off gold now, and I reckon she'd be absolutely fine here. Looking to find all those big eco-techs. But the men-at-arms now coming out a little bit after the 5-minute mark that she has aged up here. And just the single men-at-arms to open. Nothing too crazy. Ghazi Raiders will be on the way shortly. We'll ride on board with our Chinese friend as he begins to add in more production. I'm putting my legs up right now. I'm getting comfy. If you guys aren't comfy, make sure you get comfy. You know, there's nothing like watching a YouTube video when you're uncomfortable. Isn't that terrible? It hurts your neck. Because after 12 minutes or so, you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And then, like, the next morning you wake up and you got a little bit of a headache and you're like, is that because of my neck? No, you're just getting old. You're just like Drongo, Uncle Drongo. Is that where we're at? Am I now Uncle Drongo? Well, I mean, actually, I am an uncle now. Look, oversharing, one of those things. Anyway, congratulations are in order. My sister recently had a healthy baby girl. So there you go. Uncle Drongo is now online. That is correct. But anyway, Delhi Sultanate now coming through. Villager, not going to be too fussed about it. The spearman here, able to handle this with ease. Blacksmith already coming up as well. Expect to see your +1s, +2s coming through. Maybe not your +2s just yet, but they'll be coming through eventually. I'm confident. Anyway, Ghazi Raider numbers starting to build here. Keep in mind that Scholar is going to be inside the stable, so plenty of units coming out very, very quickly here. Faye looking to try and deal with this, shut it down, but needs to throw down those palings, get them down. Otherwise, the Ghazi Raider's going to eat you alive, girl. And that's exactly what happens. One longbow's going to go down. Where are the rest of the spears? I don't see the rest of the spears. Still no palings popped at this stage of the game. Now, working down a second longbow, but manages to actually... I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Trades out 2 Ghazi Raiders for... Was that a single longbow? How? I didn't even realize the second one had gone down until it was too late. Jeez. All right. Okay. Nice little opening there. Double range going to be coming through, though, for the Delhi Sultanate player. Keep in mind, access to that faster attack speed means that once you get on top of those longbows, it's going to be easy to take them out because you're just going to be able to pew, pew, pew. One of the best ways that you can play against the English is to actually get lots of archers on the field, but the one thing you've got to be careful about is the men-at-arms. The men-at-arms is their trump card in the feudal age. But now, it looks like we've got horticulture that's come through. Wheelbarrow has come through. Double broadaxe has come through. Faye now starting to add in farms around the very first mill. So looking to invest in her economy, but just with that very small step up. You've got to remember, this is like making a second TC, but just doing it a little bit slowly. That's the best way to think about it, right? She is investing in her economy here, investing in the longevity of this game. And now towards the middle of the map, the archers actually managed to get a nice little quick wall up here. Will actually block out Faye from getting through. Have a look at that. That is very annoying to deal with. Allowing your opponent to do that, she'll definitely be a little bit upset, she will. Towards that north side, though, that northeast side. We've now got Sanctity coming through, another 14 seconds. The Scholar's going to jump out. They're going to head out to the sacred sites. We've got none in the middle just yet. Where are they? Where are the Scholars? Shouldn't there be 2 Scholars? Did he only do a single Scholar opening? I will remind you, this is a Conqueror 3 player we are watching here. Did I not realize that he did he's only got a single Scholar? How did you not squeeze out a second Scholar in the transition period, my Chinese friend? That is, that's a little bit unfortunate. It's going to be a very slow grind. Longbows could technically move up and threaten this Scholar. Not going to happen. Faye going to have to fall back. Ghazi Raiders down towards that south side, looking to potentially find some villages or 2. Scholar out of position. Scholar out of position. Scholar going to get picked off. Faye doing God's work right now as the Scholar says, that is blasphemy, Drongo. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Unfortunate to see coming out from the Delhi Sultanate player. A little bit of a misplay. But plenty of Ghazi Raiders looking to try and secure an early lead here. Longbows, unfortunately, not able to tank out the archers just yet. You can see they got their roller skates on. Look at the amount of Ghazi Raiders. Perhaps Faye needed to invest a little bit more into her military. We can see that the numbers are beginning to dwindle here. Outnumbered by her opponent. Significant difference when it comes to the army value as well. Don't look at this. This is not accurate. I can tell you right now it's not accurate. Look how much the Ghazi Raiders cost, okay? Let's just do some quick math here. Ghazi Raiders are 140. We've got 5 of them on the field. You're talking about 700 resources just there. How many archers you got? 10. These guys cost 80. That's 800 resources right there. So there is no way that this is accurate at all. Don't look at it. I think the bug comes from the archer. I'm pretty sure the archer is only considered only the food from it. The archer goes towards that total. In fact, we can actually have a look here. Yeah, it's only the food that's considered, because it's 30 food for an archer, 50 wood. So the wood is not being included. That's the difference. So realistically, you want to add an extra. What do we got here? An extra 600 onto that value. But by the same token, maybe 1280 is not correct on the side of Faye. We can do some quick math here. This here is more than 800. This here is definitely more than 800. Faye's isn't correct either. So I'm not sure. This is meant to be a AAA game, but as you guys know, we don't have that 4th A just yet. So unfortunately, not going to be possible with the technology that we've got. But behind the scenes, have a look at this. Longbow's just being a little bit annoying here. A single spearman also going to be helping out, delaying those villagers from gathering up. You know, they just want to be gathering up the resources, but not today. Ghazi Raiders on the south side of the map. Sacred Site still not taken. Unfortunate here for the Delhi Sultanate. This is actually really painful to watch, I'll be honest. I did not expect this out of a Conqueror 3 player. Village is actually going to go down here. Faye not paying attention. One does go down. Second one does manage to stay alive, though. But for a Conqueror 3 player at this stage of the game, all 3 Sacred Sites should be taken. It's really not even a discussion. At the very least, 2 should be taken. The third one should be contested. Delhi Sultanate early, an absolute powerhouse of a civilization. There's just really no excuse. But Faye, obviously a good player, but I can't help but feel like the mistakes from our Chinese friend were the reason. Was almost it was an unforced error, I would say. Just not going for the second scholar, and of course losing that scholar in the middle, not having him on hold position. Longbow's struggling here. Archer numbers looking pretty good. Unfortunately, a couple of archers caught on the outpost in the middle of the map. More Ghazi Raiders going to be looking to join into the party. Spears coming around. Now those longbows underneath the outpost will have a little bit of extra oomph from that town center, from that outpost, from that extra aura. Nice little 20% attack speed. Makes all the difference. Slightly faster attack speed means slightly more dead units, which means your units stay alive for a little bit longer. Now, I will let you guys know something. I was actually planning to try something a little bit different with the cast today. I didn't do that. I'll talk to you about it later, because we got Ghazi Raiders coming through the middle once again. Spears making their way up, but you can see that they're just getting picked off so quickly by the archers, doing a really good job. And now our Chinese friend continues to push down the mountain, just eating alive. All these longbows +1s are through on both sides. No, archers don't actually have +1. You would think that they do. The way that the Chinese player is just, well, realistically, I should refer to him as the Delhi Sultanate player. How well he's doing here, but unfortunately not yet. No +1. It's about to be on the way in. Free upgrades do take a while to come through. Men-at-Arms now going to be joining the field, looking to try and hold on for dear life. The Men-at-Arms could be what turned the tide of battle. 4 armor against 5 attack. Barely scratching the surface here with the Men-at-Arms, but let me explain to you what I was planning to do. So I stream in a studio. That studio is part of my house. Unfortunately, the studio is it's north facing, which for me in the southern hemisphere means that I get the sun. And that's normally considered a really good thing, right? Like if you buy a house that's north facing, your parents are going to be like, oh, wow, it's north facing. This is really nice. Yeah, it's great for that morning sun when you're having your coffee out on the deck. But it really starts to heat up quite quickly. And you throw a 4090 down there as well, a couple monitors, and you've got yourself a recipe for a very hot room. So, all right, we'll worry about that later. I'll explain more later, because we've got ourselves, once again, a little bit of diving on action up towards the north side. Men-at-Arms going to be denying off that Sacred Site. Very well done there by Faye to recognize that was going to be happening. More units down to the south Sacred Site. So once again, the Delhi Sultanate going to have to be falling back. But look at these military numbers, very much in favor of the Delhi Sultanate this early on. So anyway, you've got a recipe for a hot room. The question is, how are you going to cool it? Now, number one, you can cool it with air conditioning, okay? But we've got that air conditioning that goes throughout the whole house. So if I'm going to put on the air conditioner, the whole house gets it. Now, it's got zone control, but the zones are like for the bedrooms, right? And technically, I'm in a bedroom, a studio bedroom. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, that's probably not going to work. It's probably a bit expensive as well. How about a fan? Well, you can do a fan, but now all of a sudden you got extra noise coming in, and I know you guys don't like noise. That's why you got me turned down quite low. So we can't have that as a solution, but that's exactly what we've got. A fan in the meantime. So anyway, I was going to keep the door open, but then all my screaming gets heard by the children, and then when I scream, they scream, and we all scream for ice cream. It's happening right now. You didn't see that one coming. The segue took a while, but we made it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all a true story, I promise you, but look at the spears getting eaten alive. Villagers coming in to help. She needs to survive, trying her best to stay alive. It is not going to be tough. Jeez Louise, look at this. Battering ram on the front. Outpost will go down. Longbows underneath the town center. Spears have been found. Hold your horses. Now underneath the town center. Remember, it's got that double extra arrow coming out. On top of that, the longbows just pumping in from behind. And look at the defense coming through. Faye is demonstrating an absolutely beautiful English defense right now. This is why you don't attack into the English base, because it blows up in your beautiful face. Look at this. We have talked time and time again about why you never dive an English town center, and Faye has just demonstrated perfectly why you don't do it. Let's go through the reasons, just quickly. Number one, she has a council hall, which doubles as well, not doubles, but it is a double production archery range. You can't kill this quickly, okay? Also means that your longbows are coming out really, really quickly. That's the first thing, okay? Number two is that you've got longbows. The longbows have extra range, extra damage, which means that they are better at defending, because longer range, they can sit inside the pocket, further back, and still get their shots off. Number three, town center, extra arrow. Number four, extra attack speed when fighting underneath the town center. Number five, villagers have got bows, and I'm not talking about the headset. I'm talking about the ranged type, and not the wireless ones. These ones, well, I mean, technically they don't have wires, but you get the picture. So that's number five. Have I even gotten to number six? What's number six? I'm sure there's a sixth reason, but I painted a picture right now as to why you shouldn't make that same mistake that our Delhi Sultanate player has made. You do not try to kill the English player. Rather, you just simply look to take control of the game. And that's exactly what our Delhi player needs to do right here. We need to see them secure the South Sacred Site. We need to see walls come up. We need to see this security around the Sacred Site. We don't want to get in a prolonged battle with the English in the feudal age, because if that happens, you're going to be in a tough spot, because they've got access to those men-at-arms. And while technically, as we said before, the Ghazi Raider is online, and it does have that bonus against heavy units, it also can be countered by the Spearman. Spearman is easy to mix in, and it's hard for you to micro out. So we'll have to see exactly how the Delhi Sultanate player plays it. But at this stage in the game, there's not a lot of resources in the bank. I don't think we've got any sign of a castle age just yet. Longbow will get picked off. Holding the one sacred site's definitely all right. Up towards the north, it looks like a sacred site will be challenged once again. New wall going to be coming down. Definitely the right call. I would have loved to have seen for a couple of these archers to just be sent down to the south side to begin the process of walling it up. Longbows once again caught out of position, but it looks like Faye does a good job to get units back in front. Spears on the front, managing to skewer up a couple of these Ghazi Raiders. Both players on 1 TC at this stage of the game. 49 villagers versus 53. Faye's lost 5 workers so far this game. Needs to be careful not to lose any more. Another worker joining into the battle. Got to be careful not to lose more on the gold vein. She's pulled them back the right way. Instead of running directly to the town center, just pulls them away from the fight. Ghazi Raiders have all gone down. And now the longbows, once again, underneath the town center, have got that extra attack speed. Here you go. Once again, the defensive bonus. It's an extra 0.25 seconds that they fire faster with. So it means every 0.25 seconds, you're... That's probably not the way to say it. Anyway, it's an attack speed buff. You like it. It's a good thing. Walls are finally coming in on this south side. It's taken too long. It's taken so long. We're 18 minutes into this game. These walls should have been up at 8 minutes. They should not be up at 18 minutes. It's painful to see this, but it's a welcome sight. My only fear is at this stage of the game, you should have held this sacred site for 10 minutes now. This game should be over. Well, not really, because then it would just be overpowered, the Delhi Sultanate. But in a perfect world, you would have just held this sacred site for 10 minutes. But it's not the case. There's been, I think, a single scholar sent down, and that was it. Because a couple of units were camping up the sacred site. Ghazi Raiders on the back. Walls beginning to come throughout the map, and exactly what we need to see from the Delhi Sultanate. Just walls up everywhere. This is 100% the way to play it. Keep in mind your archers are able to build your walls together with your spears. Any of your infantry is capable of building it, with the exception of, say, your religious infantry. Not capable. Cavalry, definitely not. We're not playing the Ayyubids here. Cavalry building. So, one sacred site in the middle is taken. Have a look at this as well. There's a presence here. And units are going to come through and look to challenge this. So expect to see more brought in from around the map. A Delhi Sultanate player, not even thinking about going castle. Have a look at the resources in the bank. Barely anything there. Exactly the way you want it to be. Spending those resources. Remember, something that I talk about quite often on my Patreon. If you want to check it out, I'll leave a link in the description. If you want to improve, we do cast the Delhi Sultanate, but one of the big things that we talk about is if you don't have a goal in mind, right? Your goal might be, I'm going to get a second town center. I'm going to age up. If you don't have a goal in mind, you must spend your resources on units and just don't stop spending. You're just always spending. Spend them as fast as you can. Avoid having lots of units in queue. You don't want to have them all stacked up in one building. You want to have them coming out as soon as you possibly can. Once you've got those resources, convert them into units immediately. And that's exactly what we see happening here. The numbers, once again, looking pretty good for our Delhi Sultanate player. Still 25, 23 population over the top, or military population at least, over the opponent. A little bit of a raid on this south side as units continue to come through. Villages are going to be evacuated. Only one of them's gone down so far. And now, once again, in the middle, Faye going to be forced back towards the town center. It is a story that we have seen time and time again right now as this battle continues to rage over the central sacred site. Non-stop action in this Cliffside game, exactly as you'd expect. No different than any other Cliffside game we have seen. It is non-stop action. The one thing I hope that we see, I just hope we see a white tower, and I hope we see it right in the middle. I don't think it's going to happen. I feel like if she ages up, she's probably going to go for the King's Palace, because it's one of those games where white tower probably doesn't get you that much value. But I feel like with the siege economy, white tower is kind of buffed up. A little bit of deletes come in. Big farm transition also on the way. Ghazi Raiders into the backside. Not a whole bunch of health on one of them. Second one's still full health. Units down towards the south side. Villagers going to be forced to run away. Nice little bit of micro. Town center going to be firing down as well. Keep in mind the ranged armor is through for these units. Not to mention the ranged attack is coming through on the side of Faye. But she should be able to clean it up, and you can see the power of that English defense. No walls again to the top side means that a single men-at-arms is able to neutralize the sacred site and is going to be able to stop that gold income coming through for the Delhi Sultanate. And this is what really hurts. Castle Age looks like it's going to be happening, but I feel like Faye's done a good job of keeping her opponent inside that feudal age for as long as she needed to. Now the numbers are starting to build. Remember, we talked about men-at-arms before. 50 archers, only 7 Ghazi Raiders. If it was 50 Ghazi Raiders and 7 archers, then we could have a discussion. But 50 archers, gonna have a little bit of trouble with the men-at-arms. We'll say that much. Archers picking off plenty of vills there. We saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 go down. It's quite a fair bit. All 3 sacred sites neutralized at this stage of the game. Faye now having to fall back towards this top side. She's got that extra bonus attack speed. Look at how much damage is coming in onto those men-at-arms. Jeez Louise, I didn't expect it to go down like that. That men-at-arm was absolutely annihilated in that fight. Faye's going to have to thin the numbers here a little bit. Longbows teeing off towards the Ghazi Raiders, now looking for the back line. Barely able to get the one shot off with the units that she had selected. Now those men-at-arms going to be forcing a little bit of a run back here. You can see the power of those men-at-arms, because while those men-at-arms are getting fired at by these archers, the longbows on the back, they get beautiful free shots onto this stable, which we love to... We obviously don't like to see this. You want to make sure that your longbows are attacking units. Very, very important. Combat of the defender. Now going to be going down on the top side. Should be relatively safe. Your opponent's got infantry. Has done a couple of infantry run-bys here, but obviously we see the minimap. We know that he'll be safe. A couple of villagers now making their way over towards the west side. Wow. Literally outside the base of Faye. The Delhi Sultanate player looks to stay on the deers. Jeez Louise. Calling it close right there. Another worker will go down, but trades out 1 for 1 on that Ghazi Raider. I think both players will be happy with that. The raid gets shut down. And you get a worker for it. Yeah, why not? If you could trade Ghazi Raiders for workers, you'd just make only Ghazi Raiders. You'd just win the game. Actually, would you? You probably would, yeah. Yeah, that would probably work. Imagine that every time you made a Ghazi Raider, it just instantly died, but your enemy lost a villager as well. Just stick a scholar in my stable and just start spamming Ghazi Raiders, and my enemy's like, no, my villagers. That would be it. That would be it. Just be spamming them non-stop. Numbers starting to look good here. Keep in mind the Delhi Sultanate, even though they've reached the castle age, it's going to take some time for these upgrades to come through. 2 minutes on archer veterancy. 3 minutes, 4 minutes on balanced projectiles. That's +2 for you. A lot of villagers, a lot of villagers, a lot of villagers, a lot of... Okay. All right, everyone's just being friendly with each other. Knights now coming out onto the field. Archers teeing off towards these men-at-arms. The longbows on the back going to be the focus of the majority of these archers, and lancers now looking to be that front line that is so badly needed by the Delhi Sultanate. You can see just how much trouble Faye's going to start having with it. It looks like her unit numbers are starting to fall, but hold your horses. The men-at-arms are still doing a decent job. Remember, though, reinforcements are going to be in favor of the Delhi Sultanate at this stage of the game. Longbow's going to look to try and kite back. No, they're just going to stop right there in their spot. A little bit of kiting. I think villagers are getting involved in the action as well. You never like to see it. Faye actually going to pick them off for their mistakes. So Faye throwing away all of her military, and this is a pretty big mistake from Faye. This is, if I'm honest, this is a massive mistake from Faye. Because she was going Castle Age as well. Now, granted, her opponent's already Castle Age. And this is essentially a feudal fight. But the problem is, she could have just gone Castle Age a little bit sooner, got veterancy upgrades, and then pushed. And pushed with a whole bunch of units that she had actual upgrades over. Whereas now, she can click the upgrade. Her veterancy can come through in 30 seconds. But the opponent's only got 37 seconds to go. So it doesn't really matter now. You hate to see it. And especially the fact that she was caught on the wrong side of the base. I would have loved to have seen that retreat towards her base. We've seen her do it time and time again in this game where she just retreats back into the town center and is able to hold on. But she just, the further she went, the further she got away from the enemy, or rather from her own base, and the closer she got to the enemy reinforcements. Villagers on the move. Outpost thrown down together with the mill. Looks like it's not going to happen. I love the fact that survival techniques is only being researched right now. In fact, I don't even think it's being researched. It was forgotten about. So you're not going to get real value. In fact, how many hunts have been taken this game and survival techniques is still not through for the Delhi Sultanate player? This is killing me watching this. I swear this Delhi Sultanate player is Conqueror 3. I swear. I think it's just one of those things with the Delhi Sultanate. The Delhi Sultanate just seems to be a little bit weird for people. You guys remember watching Puppy Paw? I remember watching Puppy Paw play like a semi-final. And he won. And we were asking him about playing the Delhi Sultanate. And the fact that he had forgotten to get every single upgrade at like the 30th minute of the game. Like, he just didn't have any eco upgrades. Not even tier 1. And he's like, oh, I didn't realize. It's like, yeah, dude. None. You literally had none. Not even wheelbarrow. You had nothing. And then you get them for free. And he was Castle Age. Anyway, I think it's the Delhi Sultanate that it just makes some people, makes their heads go a little bit funny. I know for sure when I'm playing against the Delhi Sultanate and they got sacred sites all around my base taken and they're just attacking me from angles like this. Start to get a little bit of anxiety. Start to receive a little bit of anxiety, be given a little bit of anxiety, I guess you could say. Towards that top side, men-at-arms together with the longbows though. Numbers are starting to build here when it comes to the lancers, almost double-digit numbers. Up to 9 now on the field. Should be able to clean this up without too much trouble. The lancers are a great choice here. They combo really well against the men-at-arms together with the longbows. Able to take both of them out. Don't need to think about it too much. Really, really easy. You know, you see a couple of units, boom, just send the lancers, that's it. Don't even think about it. Just set and forget. But Faye now going to start moving into crossbows. Definitely the right choice. And sacred sites being taken in the north and the south. Finally, we see the sacred sites being taken. Walled up on the middle. No gate just yet. I'm sure it will come in. A little bit of an attack on the backside. Will be shut down by the longbows. At the moment, the villager count, 78 versus 68. Keep in mind, 1 town center for our Delhi Sultanate player. 2 town centers for Faye. But remember what the Delhi Sultanate has got access to. Don't be ashamed to say the Delhi Sultanate, while they might be on 1 TC now, they'll be very quickly on 7 TCs. So keep an eye out for it. I'd love to see the transition coming through now from our Delhi Sultanate player. Just moving almost every villager over to stone feels really, really good right about now. Not every single villager. You guys know what I mean. You know, 15 villagers, 20 villagers. Throw down these keeps. Get them in good little spots like this one right here. Beautiful position, by the way. He's got access to more stone. Have a look at this, though. Men-at-arms from behind. And ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time. The knights are trying to find a way through. The men-at-arms able to deny them that pleasure. Meanwhile, on this backside, the men-at-arms doing a decent job of stopping that keep from going up, but doubtful they'll be able to intervene. Archers still able to overwhelm the longbows. Look at the lancer numbers. Faye looks like she could be in trouble. There's more coming in from that south side. The keep will go up in the middle. I don't know. It will go up. It will go up. It will go up. Faye's in trouble. Faye is in trouble. Head currently. She's drowning. She's drowning in the amount of units that are here. But remember, you're fighting into English reinforcements. The greatest mistake you can do against the English is push into their base when you're not sure. And right now, I tell you what, I'm not sure. Don't be not sure against the English. Look at this defense coming through from Faye. We are seeing a true masterclass right now. And I think, you know, we talked earlier a little bit about defensive masterpieces. We talked about the Japanese video that has been popping off recently. We talked about the Viper video that has just popped off forever. Have we got a new one on the cards? Faye, of course, looking to try and keep herself alive. 30 minutes into this game, she manages to keep that head above water. Things were not looking good for her then, but still some way she managed to do it. Keep now on the south sacred site. up on the north side. No sacred sites, or no keeps on this one just yet. Second keep in the middle. So that's 2 town center equivalents, together with the main town center. Compound of the defender. About to finish off that village fortresses. Keep in mind, it doesn't have the Wi-Fi out here, so it's going to be a little bit slower. You always want to try and keep things around that mosque. Make sure it's got access to that Wi-Fi. Sprinkled emplacements through. Just firing down. Faye going to throw down another keep as well. In the middle, looking to contest this central sacred site. At this stage of the game, as long as the Delhi Sultanate's able to hold the sacred sites in the north and the south, I think he'll be happy with it. Ideally, you'd love to go for that sacred victory, but I don't think today's going to be the day. Archers now over on this west side. Villagers having to immediately evacuate. Unfortunately, not able to get that one shot off. Trebuchet does come out over here as well. And Archers looking to try and do a little bit of damage. 30 villagers the difference. A lot of villagers were lost in this fight right here. Not even a fight. Well, I mean, technically during this fight right here, a lot of villagers were lost. I don't know how many were lost, but it looks like a lot. It looks like a huge amount. Because, remember, this keep got up, and there was a handful of villagers left. It started, there was like 20 villagers here, so I think probably about 15 villagers lost to the men-at-arms would be right, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. You're just lucky if Faye wasn't playing the Holy Roman Empire and didn't have a Lanch Connect in there. Otherwise, there would be 0 villagers alive, and that keep would be like 6% health. Battering ram. Looking to try and knock on Heaven's Door. Unfortunately, you got the wrong address there, my friend. Archers behind the back of the base. More Lancers now going to be coming through this gap that Faye has left open towards the north side of her base. She's walled off completely on the south. You can see it up there. She's quite happy with herself for sure. But now more and more units make their way towards that northern point, looking to reinforce. Archers on the backside. Vils could just turn around and just shoot them if they wanted. +2 ranged armors through though, so it's going to be a little bit harder. They do about the same amount of damage. 7 damage versus 9. Lancers once again. And it looks like our Delhi Sultanate player is slowly evening up this villager count. Have a look at this. Managing to take out another 4 villagers on the wood, or on the wall. Meanwhile, another one on the back. So 26 workers killed versus 29 workers killed. Keep still struggling to stay alive. Second trebuchet now out for Faye. It might be the end of it right here if the keep goes down. Springled is out, but now the repairs are coming in from Faye. Look at this. The keep actually... how? I don't even know. How did the Springle die? The Lancers were all standing here. Was there a men-at-arms or something underneath? I just wasn't paying attention. Keep still alive. Nothing to stop the Springles, and the keep will go down. And with that, Faye's position in this game begins to improve, but hold your horses as we've got more Lancers now coming through. Crossbows on the back, going to help to clean it up. There's a lot of units here right now, but Faye still got the numbers advantage. She's got units up towards this top side, sieging down the sprinkled emplacement, sieging down the siege workshop. Double Treb still out in the middle. Keep firing it down, keeping it down. 13 workers on the inside. And once again, she lives to tell the tale. It feels like this game is starting to get away from our Delhi player. He's managed to pick up 4 relics this game. That 5th relic is over towards the center of the map on the southern side of this mountain range. But I think the big question is, how does he get back in this game? And I really don't know the answer. Because Faye's position now is really solid. She's neutralized the sacred site in the center. So there's no prospect of any sacred victory. It's been neutralized for what, 20 minutes now at this point? Oh, he's just going to tap out. He's just going to tap out just like that. Faye, victorious in this game. Her opponent realizing that he can't do it. He was so damn close so many times, and still Faye takes the cake. Ladies and gentlemen, go check her out. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can watch her live, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.